Do you think it's going to work?
I think it's going to work. Why shouldn't it?
I've said that before. There are so many reasons why it shouldn't work.
No, I think that's just doubt. I think that's doubt in the mind. All right. Do you want to see it fire? Now, I'm one for honesty. We have started it.
We have started it.
We have started it. So,
but it was a mess.
yeah, no. We've in various states, our eagerness. We haven't waited until everything has been buttoned up, nth degree tight and that before swinging it. We've been eager, very eager, and we also want to check. We don't want any surprises, but we think you deserve a good startup. So yes, the engine does start. We have started it up in the past. We did a Instagram live of it. You may have caught that if you have been following the progress and you follow us on social media at Tofu Hunters. Today we buttoned up a couple of the coolant lines, T-pieces and the likes, radiators in, belts on, earth strap has been crafted, created, coil is in, we've blanked off a few things, got the fuel delivery system in there, and the carburetor on. So the car should...
I'm not going, don't worry, it's okay.
Last time we were on a live video here.
Jason went in. Oh guys, we live.
Hey, Ray, you want to? All right, let's take a look on the interior.
Okay,
it's not dialed in.
We also need to put a disclaimer in that
It hasn't started.
it hasn't actually started. I did recommend that we did start it and then start a live video and pretend like, oh no, it's the first start. Woo!
He wanted to fake it.
Yeah, 100%.
No.
Because I don't want to show a failure.
No, you don't want to show a failure, but this is the real process. This is genuinely how it goes. So we can't promise that it's going to start.
And
It may start.
I will be sitting on the other end of the Corsa in case it does grenade itself. I mean, I can't.
Yo, there's a lot of faith in the way that this man has built an engine, eh? What the hell?
Me. Thanks, Ray.
Turn off the lights on the bonnet.
Something died.
No. That was a blow fuse.
There we go. Yeah, turn off that light.
I have no idea what that is. It doesn't sound really good.
No, I think that is just so dead. It's all the relays just hanging up. What's up?
Just throwing down the throats. That was a very noisy, loud, smoky affair.
Yes.
So, dirty fuel, bad fuel,
Bad fuel, very bad fuel.
and
also we had
assembly
a lot of,
lube.
Yeah, a lot of assembly lube.
I'm going to use assembly lube in inverted commas there. We chucked a lot of oil down the cylinders.
Yeah, no, we Well, we knew it was going to stand for a while, you know,
Yeah.
after we had assembled it. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't have any binding and that there was enough lube in there. And it turns out there was enough lube in
It
there.
was more than enough. Yeah. So it does run.
Yeah.
But let's give you a nice clean startup on this.
Yeah. Not quite as expected, this first startup. It starts. Starting is good. Smoke, not so much. Good heavens. That was rough.
It starts. That was actually, that was proper, that was proper. I was working upstairs. I don't know, I was supposed to be wearing a mask when I was grafting upstairs this time. I normally wear the mask when I'm downstairs, but it starts at least. For 2 days, my shop smelled like it.
There's always that little bit of apprehension when you start up an engine for the first time. I haven't really had that much experience with car engines, but I've rebuilt bike engines that also grenaded themselves within the first 20 minutes of starting. So it's always a bit of an apprehensive time for me. This one fires up. It's a relatively simplistic engine, but I've got a lot of trust in the guys and how they worked on it. Raymond double checking everything may irritate some of the guys, but it is double checking, and that gave me as almost like a third party that confidence that there were 2 sets of eyes on it. So I don't think it's always a bad thing. Doesn't always land the same way though. I'm just glad it starts, even if it is a little smoky. But hey, that's that assembly lube. All right, let's kick this thing.
Pump it a few times?
Sorry?
Pump it a few times?
Well, there we go. It's idling. And we didn't need to jump it. Okay, so join us on the start sequence. Let's, there's a little bit of warmth and heat into it. All right. Sorry, yeah, that was not a graceful camera movement. All right, steering wheel's not on. We still have, I think these are Hooter wires.
No, they're illumination wires. Which ones? The grey ones? Or the red and green ones?
Red and green ones.
We can chop those off now.
Oh, okay.
If I'm comfortable, they don't need to be there.
All right. Okay, so here we go. Our dashboard, and when we give it power,
Lights on the stalk.
lights up there. We've got, don't know if you're going to be able to see this here during the day. Well, yes you are, because we fitted blinking LEDs. So, all looking good. Very nice. Clock works. We'll set it. It's not 1 o'clock. All right. Switch panel that Ray's crafted. We're going to be throwing in a Hooter button here because the car is still going to remain roadworthy. All right. Less waffle, more vroom vroom. Race car. Button up some of the gauges and that, they haven't been connected. That's Ray's job for the day. Yeah, kinda happy. Test time. That one works.
I'm tired.
I'm tired, boss.
Tired, boss. So before our startup, we need to do the water temp sensor, and we need to do, well, the sensor in the sump. If it doesn't work, well, it's not going anywhere. It's staying. That's where it lives from now.
Right, so taking some baseline readings on the sensor, I noticed that the ground wasn't good, and that might be because there's the lug. Oh, in Jason's hand now.
No, it's on the floor now.
Should be attached to the end of that. Somebody that did the wiring obviously doesn't know what he's doing. These people. Which version do you really want?
I'm going to be a little kinder and say that considering the complete rewiring of this vehicle,
Yeah.
that is essentially the only wiring
That's the
fault
only
we've
fault
encountered.
that we've had is
that's-
had sensor.
Dude,
That's it.
I've got-
Everything else has been wired up perfectly.
And considering I know how you wire audio amps,
You've been there.
I've also rapidly jumped out of the car that has
Started catching fire.
started catching fire. I am rather impressed that is the only fault in this vehicle
Indeed.
on the electrical front.
Well, on the electrical front.
Because I mean, there are a couple of other faults and there's still things missing.
Quite a bit of things missing.
Well, I mean, that just makes me happy because it means that we have two gauges that we were getting faulty readings on. This was one of them. So we can now try and rectify this fault. The other one was the one in the sump, my grudge sensor. So everything works. We've had decent chance to test the whole lot now. Everything works. I'm super stoked, but there's that one sensor. Remember, maybe you'll remember, a good couple of episodes I said, I don't think putting a sensor in the sump's a good idea, guys. And I got railroaded. Well, that sensor is never going to work. It's just an extra hole in the sump, but it lives there now.
It is 2023. That is a 1983 model.
Yeah.
That's a 40-year-old car. It celebrates its 40th birthday by going racing.
Yes.
I like that.
All right. Oh, dyslexic. Hold on. Where's the lot? Okay.
Yeah, we are still on.
We're overheating because the fan circuit fuses blow. And here we were chasing our tails trying to figure out why the idling's going up. And in fact, the car was busy overheating. So a good start.
Okay, but that begs the question now, why did that fuse blow?
Well, I want to know.
So thankfully got nice access. Ray did think about this to things like the fan fuse, which is just up front here. So that's a quick change, but the reason for the blown fuse, well, we need to figure that out. Tracing a little bit of a misfire that we picked up as soon as it started getting warm, turns out we had a really dud plug in number 2. Thankfully nothing major, but we're going to naturally go to a clean set of plugs before race day. Now, just to put a new fuse in there and figure out why she's not wanting to keep that fuse.
Miscalculation, I guess. I hope. We'll see. But I think we upped it to a 15 amp fuse. It didn't blow again. I think we're fine. I think I just underrated the fuse slightly. The fan was bigger than I thought it was.
The engine did get a little hot. It ran close to that red mark, and that is a slight concern. We're hoping we haven't damaged anything, but we're going to have faith in it. It's a big, old cast iron block. There's not a lot of meat left in the head, but I think it should be pretty good. I'm just glad that going through this process of testing it so that we can figure out where the little weak areas are. And this fan fuse was just one of them. I'm glad we got it sorted.
Suppose I should be wearing a mask.
He says with a cigarette in his mouth.
So, I've taken a TRD, actual TRD, AE86 wing, and molded it onto here. Put more reinforcement on the wing than
hold the Titanic together.
pretty much, yeah, and a lot more reinforcement than the boot actually had. So if somebody does crash into this wing, hard luck for you.
Give it a lick of paint, we're going to dress it up, flat out a couple of the high spots,
Yeah. Make it look a little bit more nicer.
make it look pretty.
Yeah. Sorry, I might have set the car lights.
You know when you have that cold chill down your back, you're like, uh-oh. This is bigger than I thought it would be.
I was just thinking, I'm like, how am I going to explain to my insurance broker what happened? Everybody comes to work tomorrow in this center and they're like, I'd like.
Where's the rest of it?
The good news.
The prawns next door would have been cooked.
Oh, dude,
The bad news is he can't eat them.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
So there's one way of curing paint, and that's with heat. Unless it's super wet, because then you just ignite the entire car. Which is what happened here.
Oh, at least I know my smoker's lungs can still blow.
I was sitting here watching this whole thing, and you're like, and then as soon as you blow out that
You
side,
blow out this side, that
that
side
side
lights
came
up,
on,
and you
I
blow
was
out
like,
that side, this side lights up.
maybe I should start walking.
I wasn't concerned. I mean, I heard, but when it started going, it's okay, look.
So I get to play with a little bit of fabrication. I get to do the breather tank for obviously our little race car. And obviously there was a little bit of a scary moment. As I'm sitting there, I start seeing Miggz starting to blow out some flames. Thinking to myself, nah, it should be fine, he'll got it. But when he starts going from blowing one side and having the other side catch light, yeah, a little bit of a cold chill down my back. I'm going, instead of I should be watching, I think I should be helping. I'm the fire starter, the raging fire starter.
So I had everything under control. But obviously I might have set the fire a little bit too soon. So while I'm trying to blow out one side, the other side's going on. And I thought I had it under control. But when I saw the panic in Jason's face, I might have realized that I didn't have it under control.
Problem is, we've now upgraded our full disc assembly, and we have noticed that our disc is a bit of a fat boy, and she doesn't really fit quite well on the caliper. As you spin,
Some clearance issues there.
a little bit of a clearance issue. But to fix a clearance issue,
We're taking off just a little bit here.
yeah, and by a little bit, we use a grinder. Yes, for the first time.
Time for brakes now. Let's get those wheels on, but then of course we start to find out that as we start to spin the tire, we start hearing a little bit of scraping. So with Raymond not watching, let's just say a little bit of noise and some grinding came out, and hopefully I can get that rim to stop touching the caliper. There's some dodginess coming into this now, but don't worry, we'll make sure that Raymond doesn't see anything.
Okay, so as pretty as these are, it's a 280mm disc outside, a 280mm disc outside. But this originally used to be a 288mm disc. This has always been a 280mm disc. These are 288mm calipers and pads. But obviously we're trying to fit 14s, so these were taken down 8mm to cater for it. Calipers were brought down to counter it. Okay. Because this was a standard 280mm disc, it's always been there. That's all the way at the end. So when we were fitting the 288mm to the 280mm discs, the pad was lifted up ever so slightly. Now, on a normal car, or if I'm driving it, I don't really care. But because of endurance, we worried that when the pad starts wearing away, that it actually might touch.
It could get binding there.
It could be binding. So I don't mind taking this one away I'll run that in the 86. So this originally was, 25 years ago, this was a TRD setup. So it had TRD shocks, TRD progressive springs, and everything else. But in time, obviously the shocks wore away and I couldn't find TRD replacements for it. So I retrofitted KYBs from a Silica ST185. And with age and all of that, I decided to upgrade my springs. So I went with a Hyperco progressive dual spring setup, and that was running on the 86. And because of the spindle being TRD, I left this here and I just put the Hyperco spindles, and this was on. So this setup was originally in my AE86 with those calipers, with these discs, standard pads, everything else. But I had top camber plates. So what I've done is I've taken other spindles, welded it onto the liftbacks shocks, and I'm now moving the Hyperco stuff to that, which is now going to go back in the 86. So with this one, we are running OEM top shock hat.
Not ideal. There's a little bit
Not
of
ideal,
there's a little
yes.
bit of wiggle in that, but it's a lemon, and version 2.0
Yeah.
will maybe have camber plates.
But also I haven't really tightened this so much.
No, but I mean it's a rubber. There's
a rubber
mount.
there's
There's
gonna
going to
be
be a
play.
little bit of play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of give.
But-
Not a lot, not tons of adjustability in that, but
Yeah.
we've done the extended control arm, so we've got a fairly static
Yeah, we've got anywhere between 2 to 2.5 degree
negative.
camber.
Yeah.
So we know this setup runs. I mean, I got this from Ireland, and it was a second-hand kit, and I installed it 2017. I ran it until 2021. It worked. I've upgraded. So new shocks are in here, new bearings, new studs, new pads, obviously, and that's now going into the liftback.
I don't think I need to go into any more detail about the suspension. But when we did say that we need to put some mileage on this car, I didn't think I had to specify that the wheels actually needed to be on the car to get some mileage. There's Jason, put in mileage.
The suspension looks great. I had a lot of concerns. I had a lot of concerns. We had a lot of fights. I did a lot of complaining. I have a different word for it, but I'll use the team's word. I complained a lot. But in the end, I'll admit, it looks really, really good. I'm super stoked to have it in there.
What we also discovered is that is 50 mils, so 5 centimeters, 50 mils, and then on this one we've actually got 63 mils
Coverage.
of surface area.
Yes.
So I actually think that those are going to work quite well for this car in terms of checking it up.
Look, if
It's not going to be as great as this in terms of heat dissipation and that, but
Yes.
we're not a heavy car and we're not a super fast car.
100%.
And I'm worried about those being a cheese grater on our expensive endurance pads.
Yeah. So,
So-
like I said, I don't mind running this.
Oh, I wouldn't.
But
I wouldn't.
I don't go through much front brake pads.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You're
been-
more on the hydro, hey,
Yeah. Look, the rear brake pads. I think I'm on like my 4th or 5th set.
this month.
No, that's a second side shaft this month.
Yeah.
But as for the front, when I stripped out the front on mine to obviously bring everything here, I still had 80% pad left. And I mean, I'm not running EBC pad or anything on there. I'm running your normal stuff from Goldbach.
Yeah.
So having had a look at, I mean, initially disappointed. You know, it looked really nice to have the ventilated drilled discs. Looked race, if you know what I mean. So I was a bit disappointed that we couldn't run them, but having seen it assembled and the amount of friction area that we have, those brakes stop my nearly 2-ton Audi, and I've used them as a dyno on my Audi when I'm tuning them, so I'm not nervous. It looks good. First start.
Can we go racing yet?
Oh, come here.